Hey guys, so I normally have a policy, as all of you know, because I've talked about this 1,000 times, of I'm not gonna read my Twitter mentions, because when you hit a certain size, I don't remember exactly what that size is, but when you hit a certain size, you get a decent number of people who despise you, people who really hit you with vitriol and hatred. And when I was a little younger and I was more new to the YouTube scene, I felt like I had a pretty thick skin. Like, yeah, I could take whatever people are throwing at me because there's enough positive stuff where it outweighs the negative stuff. But then at a certain point, I don't know why this happened or how this happened, or maybe it's not unique to me. Maybe it's a thing that generalizes across the board. But at a certain point, you start focusing more on the negative stuff, and it gets in your head. And even if okay, it's just one person, maybe they're having a bad day, maybe they have their reasons or whatever, the negative stuff sort of sticks with you. So at a certain point, I decided it's better, just for general mental health and happiness and well-being, to just not read through mentions on Twitter, and not to dive into the YouTube comment section, because at the end of the day, even though I thought I had a thick skin, ultimately my new conclusion is that I really don't. I do, in the sense that if somebody's making a criticism of me that I think is truly legitimate and genuine, I can digest that, and I can accept it. And in fact, I sort of like it if it's a reasonable, sincere, genuine criticism coming from a good place. I guess I just can't. I have a very thin skin when it comes to things that are vitriolic and hateful and sort of over the top, and when people malign intentions and try to almost attack your being as opposed to maybe a specific point you made that they might disagree with. But I violated my rule today and read through some of the stuff on Twitter. And today's my birthday, and there were a lot of birthday wishes in there. And I just want to take a moment to issue a genuine, heartfelt thank you to everybody who is truly kind and understanding and sweet. And they take a moment out of their day to send a nice message. I really want to say thank you for that, because it means the world to me. And it means the world that there are even people who, maybe they don't agree with me on everything. Maybe they only agree with me 60% of the time or 70% of the time. But even in agreeing with me 60 or 70% of the time, they still keep me in their media diet and their regular viewers or listeners. I respect that, and I appreciate that. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's always stuck with me every step of the way from the beginning. And understand that, when I do the show, it's always coming from a good place. It's coming from the heart. I'm always telling you exactly what I think on the issues. And I'm human, and I make mistakes just like anybody else. But I always try to do my best to right or wrong if I did something wrong, or, to be as honest as possible at all times. I think that's the one thing in being any sort of, public figure, new media or otherwise. I feel like the deal that you make with the audience is just complete and utter honesty, complete transparency and openness. That's the deal. The deal is, if you give people your everything and sort of bear it all for the world to see, then you might get in return some support, some viewership, and things of that nature. And that's the one rule that you have to always abide by, is like, look, I'm always going to tell people exactly what I think, and just let the chips fall where they may. And there are people who've stuck with the show every step of the way, and I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. And I also want to thank the people who've stuck with me in the show for a long time, even though they might maybe only agree with me on 50 or 60% of things, because I think that's really cool. I think that if you can listen to other perspectives and viewpoints, and it's coming from a good place, it's sincere, it's heartfelt, but you could even agree to disagree on certain things, I think that's mature, and I think that's more of the way that we should all try to act when it comes to national discourse and dialogue on social media, or from various podcasters or YouTube hosts or whatever. And I was just sort of struck by the This was the first time in a long time that I actually looked at the YouTube comments, and it was, nothing but overwhelming positivity. And that made me smile, and that made me happy. And I just want to let you guys know I appreciate it, and I will absolutely, positively do my best to continue to be honest, upfront, open, and do the show to the best of my abilities. There's a criticism of me that I think is totally legitimate. That criticism is that, look, you're repetitive. You say a lot of the same things over and over and over and over. That's just true. Like, that's just accurate. And my only defense, which isn't even a defense, it's just an explanation as to why that is the way it is that the problems haven't changed and the solutions haven't changed. And yeah, we were talking about Medicare for all and all these other policies 5 years ago. We still don't have them. And there's still people dying every year because they don't have basic health care. And so if I'm on my 80-second rant, which is a rant that you've already heard 12 times yourself, you're not obligated to sit there and listen to it. I think that the repetitive criticism is definitely an accurate criticism. But I want to say thank you again, and I want everybody to know that I'm going to continue to do my best for the show. And even when times like, look, everybody knows it's not a secret or anything, but over the year, it has been very frustrating, particularly because we covered a story about how YouTube rolled out these new plans to promote authoritative content when it comes to news and politics. And basically what that means is the algorithm is going to promote CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, the major news outlets. And that has had an incredibly deleterious effect on independent media, new media, left new media, and right new media. I know I've seen David Dole of the Rational National cover this and give everybody his numbers and show that the sub growth has completely stopped. It's been the exact same thing with me. Sub growth has completely stopped. Some of that is attributable to the election ending, and so you're just naturally going to see a dip in new subscribers. But at the same time, I've been on this for a number of elections previously, and usually, maybe you get a drop off of 20%, maybe at most 40%. We've seen literally, originally was an 88% drop. Now, I think, we haven't gained a new sub in months. So that is not just a function of the election being over. That's also a function of YouTube promoting authoritative content. And I am not considered as part of the authoritative content because I do news and politics, but also opinion. And I have an ideological perspective, and I'm open and honest about that ideological perspective. And, we've been punished as a result of that. So it's been tough. Especially right at the doorstep of 1 million subs. And it's like, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to get there because it's just impossible to override it. Even if I somehow found a way, which is not possible, but if I doubled the amount of content I release and did all these new things, it ain't going to budge. It's not going to budge unless YouTube changes their policies back to a more meritocratic algorithm. And I don't see that happening. So even though in some ways it's been, professionally infuriating and it's been upsetting, at the same time, go ahead and play the world's smallest violin for me because a million people would kill to be in the position that I'm in. And we've built this giant loyal audience, and you guys have stuck with me through thick and thin. And I just want you to know that I appreciate it. And I love you guys. And I want to thank you all for the birthday wishes because it really got to me today. I don't think I'm too sappy and emotional a guy, but this was one of those instances where I felt a little something, felt a little tingle because of all the love that you guys were sending and all the support. So I'm going to be celebrating my birthday in typical Kyle Klinsky fashion. I just completed a show, and that's going to be uploaded. And then later today, I will be discussing or potentially debating, we'll see, don't know how it's going to go, Russia and Ukraine with Vosh. So I'll be spending a birthday exactly like you expect Secular Talk to spend it, just immersed in news and politics and immersed in debate and discussion. So love you guys. Hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon.